Hello, and welcome inside the LinkedIn studio here at the Cannes Lions Festival 2024. My name is Keith Browning. I'm Director of Brand Marketing here at LinkedIn. Delighted to be joined by two-time Academy Award-winning filmmaker and CEO of Breakwater Studios, Ben Proudfoot. Hey, Ben.
Delighted to be here, Keith.
Yeah? How's your festival going so far? Good?
Very well, very well. It's a beautiful, beautiful day today. Happy to be here.
It certainly is, yeah. Well, you and I have been working on something very special for the last year.
We have.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so today is actually an extraordinary day. We're premiering Everybody's Business, short documentary about B2B marketing and the history and future thereof. And you get to meet some of the most compelling characters of the industry and travel the globe learning about what's next.
Yeah, absolutely. Not the most obvious follow-up, though, for a two-time Academy Award-winning filmmaker to make something about B2B marketing. So what was it that drew you in?
Well, as a documentary filmmaker, you're always looking for a story that people haven't heard before, and where there's a gap between the significance of a group of people or a subject matter and how many people know about it. And yeah, to be honest, the first time I heard, let's make a film about B2B marketing, I thought,
why?
Why? And who cares? And then as I learned more about it, I thought, actually, the decisions that people in B2B make have an enormous impact on the world. And the average person generally has no idea exactly what is going on or who's making those decisions. And I found it a compelling story about how businesses tell their story to other businesses has an enormous impact on the way the world moves, and that many of our greatest problems can be solved by the way businesses tell their story to each other. That was interesting.
Nice. You're a filmmaker, you're an Oscar-winning filmmaker, so you know a thing or two about storytelling. Can you tell us a little bit about the storytelling or creative process behind this film?
Yeah. Well, part of a documentary is you don't know what it's going to be at the beginning. So it's not something where you sit down and you write it and then you go shoot it. It was writing itself right up until the last moment, as you got to see as our collaborator in this film. But we started with Cannes Lions and with the B2B jury and Tom Stein, who was the president last year of that jury. And started with his interview and kind of went through his whole life, and that became a bit of a narrative spine to the film. Why he was interested in this, his dad worked in a makeup factory in New Jersey, and he got to see kind of how businesses worked and how all the parts and pieces behind the scenes came together, and that intrigued him initially into the world of B2B, and that was a great sort of architecture from which to hang a lot of other stories. And then it went from there. We followed Andisa Natsubane, who is the CMO of Vodafone, lives in South Africa, and followed his story. And he takes us into the past of B2B, back to 1956, where here in Cannes, the first Grand Prix was awarded to, in fact, a B2B film called Put Una Money For There, a short animated film that had this great song that became a hit in West Africa. That was written by Sam Akpabot, who was in his 20s from Nigeria studying in London, and he really wrote this amazing banger of a tune that not only did a great job in advertising for Barclays Bank, but also became just a popular song. And so to find out that was the first Grand Prix winner awarded here in Cannes in 1956, and that it was a B2B film, Barclays Bank advertising to farmers as a group. I thought that was a profound discovery that we expanded on in the film.
Yeah. I still remember you texting me the day that you found that out.
Yep.
You also sent me another text telling me that right here at the Carlton, Elton John filmed his "I'm Still Standing" music
That's
video.
right.
So there's a lot of interesting things.
A lot of discoveries we had.
A lot of discoveries. So you mentioned Tom Stein and Andisa, and they feature prominently in the film. Two great stories. I'd love to know a little bit more about the casting process. How do you go about casting for a documentary like this?
Well, you have to talk to a lot of people, and you end up talking to way more wonderful and passionate people than could ever be in the film. And so you're looking for people that have an intersection of a number of different things that are part of the film, and that have a personal passion, a personal stake in whatever it is that you're talking about. They were in the room. They can speak about it from a first-person perspective, not as an expert talking about something else, but in their own life. And in this case, we wanted to show this. I mean, B2B is truly global. There's few things that are as global as this. So we wanted a group of people that were representative of the whole world. And we did. We shot on multiple continents with this film. Yep. Took us a whole year to make it. And you're looking for people who really care and that are good oral storytellers that can express themselves in a compelling and emotional way. And everybody in the film could do that well. And we're actually very lucky. I think there's a lot. I mean, maybe not that lucky. You're in a storytelling medium of B2B marketing, so you're gonna find good storytellers. Yeah. But I feel like we had an abundance of riches, of amazing people to choose from in this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you mentioned, you've been in this world of B2B marketing for a year now.
Right.
You've found and talked to a lot of people. Was there anything, particularly surprising or enlightening as you spent the last year in B2B marketing?
Many things. Well, I found that I'm the CEO of a B2B company.
That is true.
Breakwater Studios are our company that makes films with brands. We're B2B partners, right?
We are.
I learned about the difference of how, there's a buying group in B2B, how there's a whole group of people of maybe 10 or 12 experts that have to make a decision. And I learned that really, being rational and giving data and things like that is only part of the story. You also have to be creative and capture their heart. That was interesting to learn. I was blown away by the idea of ABM, account-based marketing, because I never would conceive that somebody would put together a whole campaign just to win one account. But it makes sense if the account is important or big enough. So I loved learning all the intricacies of how this whole world works and what it's all about. Because I think, from an outsider's perspective, it's just kind of like, I don't know what the heck is going on over there. So to spend a year really understanding, I see how this all works, was a great privilege. Really enjoyed it.
Well, we've got plenty of fodder for a follow-up by the sounds of things. Maybe we go all in an ABM potentially for
Sounds good, yeah.
All right. Ben, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Keith.
And thank you everyone for tuning in. You can actually catch the B2B documentary, Everybody's Business, right now on our YouTube channel. But in the meantime, we will leave you with our trailer.
If you want to make a difference, you'd work for a B2B company.
B2B.
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 B2B stands for business to business. The company that makes things not to sell to you, but to sell to other companies. And if you're into marketing, you'd work in the marketing organization of that company.
When people talk about marketing, they're thinking about only the marketing that could help the companies to sell something. But marketing is not only this. Marketing is a way to mobilize minds.
B2B is what drives most human endeavors. And so our next step is to make sure that a renaissance in creativity occurs. Cannes Lion is the ultimate festival of creativity in the advertising and marketing world.
It's like the World Cup of creativity.
Yes, we're selling to a company, but that doesn't mean it has to be boring.
Everybody's human, everybody has a heart. We just had to get the people's heart.
And we had to make a noise.
Creativity can come from anywhere. 35 years ago, there wasn't LinkedIn and social media. They found each other and created magic. So I think we've got to use the technology that we have at our fingertips today to find creatives from around the world.
To be on the Palais stage representing the B2B world, it's incredible. This is B2B's decade.
That's the future. Using creative to change the world.